Hi, I'm Dan, owner of the Comforted Canine. If you've ever seen a pet care company say, "We're insured and bonded," and thought, okay, that sounds good, but what does that actually mean for me and my dog? You're not alone. Today, I want to pull back the curtain and talk about something that isn't glamorous, but is really important: pet sitting insurance and bonding coverage. We're going to cover what pet sitting insurance really is, what bonding means, and what it does and doesn't cover, how this protection works in real life scenarios, and what questions you should ask any sitter or pet care company about their coverage. My goal is not to turn you into an insurance expert, it's to give you enough clarity so that when someone says, "Don't worry, we're insured and bonded," you actually know what that means and how it protects you, your dog, and your home. Let's start with the why. When you hire a professional dog sitter, you're not just buying time. You're trusting someone with a living, breathing family member, access to your home, responsibility for your belongings and property. Even with the most careful, experienced sitter, life happens. A dog slips out and injures themselves, a leash breaks and a dog runs towards the street, a sitter accidentally damages something in your home. In very rare cases, someone might act dishonesty. Insurance and bonding are there as safety nets. They're not magical shields that prevent anything from ever going wrong, but they do provide financial protection when accidents or incidents happen, show that a company is serious and professional, create accountability because there's a policy and process behind the scenes. At the Comforted Canine, we talk a lot about trust. Insurance and bonding are part of how we back that trust up with structure and not just words. So, what exactly is pet sitting insurance? In simple terms, it's a business insurance policy designed specifically for pet care professionals. It can include a few different types of coverage, but there are two big ones you'll hear about most often. One, general liability. This is the if something goes wrong and the business is held responsible coverage. Examples of what general liability might protect against: a dog sitter accidentally knocks over an expensive lamp in your home, a dog in your sitter's care gets loose and damages neighbor's property, a visitor trips over the sitter's gear while they're walking your dog and gets hurt. General liability focuses on bodily injury or property damage caused in the course of doing business. This sounds technical, but it's really important. Animal Bailee, or care, custody, and control coverage, is about the pets themselves. It's protection for when an animal in the sitter's care is injured or something happens while the sitter is responsible for them. For example, a dog slips, falls, and injures a leg while on a walk with a sitter. Two dogs in the same household get into a fight during a visit. A dog chews and swallows something dangerous while the sitter is there. Policies can vary, but the idea is that there is coverage for injuries to the pet while under our care, not just damage to property. It's helpful to also know what pet sitting insurance usually doesn't cover, such as routine vet care unrelated to an accident, pre-existing conditions flaring up on their own, issues caused by information we weren't given, for example, not being told a dog is aggressive around strangers. Policies have limits, exclusions, and fine print, which is why it's important that your sitter is working with a real professional policy, not just saying, "Don't worry, it's fine." Now, let's talk about the second half of that phrase, bonding. You'll often see pet businesses advertise insured and bonded together, almost like one word, but bonding is a little different. A bond is a type of guarantee that offers financial protection to the client if the person working in their home commits certain dishonest acts, usually theft or intentional property damage. In other words, bonding is mainly about dishonesty coverage. If, for example, a sitter were to steal something from your home or intentionally damage your property, a bond is there as a way to compensate the client after the issue is investigated and validated. This kind of situation is extremely rare, especially when you have a strong vetting process, but bonding is one more way to say we're serious about who we hire and there's an additional layer of protection if someone betrays that trust. Bonding doesn't replace insurance, cover accidental damage, that's usually insurance territory, guarantee that nothing bad can ever happen. Think of bonding as dishonesty protection, while insurance is accident and liability protection. Both matter. Together, they show that a company isn't just hoping things go well, they're planning for all possibilities. Let's make this concrete with a few real-world style scenarios, so you can see how this might actually play out. Scenario 1, dog injury on a walk. Your dog is out on a walk with a sitter, gets startled, jumps awkwardly off a curb, and injures their leg. A professional company with proper pet sitting insurance would get your dog immediate detention per your instructions, contact you and your vet, document what happened, use their coverage where appropriate, to help handle the costs related to the incident depending on policy terms. Scenario 2, accidental property damage. A sitter is refilling your dog's water and the bowl slips, spilling onto your hardwood floor. The water goes unnoticed and causes damage. Here, general liability coverage may come into play to help cover repairs, depending on the policy. Scenario 3, theft or intentional damage. In a worst-case scenario, a client alleges that something has been stolen or intentionally damaged by a sitter. This is where bonding and internal investigations come in. The company looks into the claim. If it's substantiated and meets the bond's criteria, the bond can be used to compensate the client. Again, these examples depend on specific policy language, but the general idea is that insurance and bonding offer real-world mechanisms to handle worst-case scenarios. At the Comforted Canine, we don't just have insurance and bonding because it's a nice marketing phrase. We structure our entire operation around safety and accountability, and those policies are one piece of that. Our approach includes working under professional pet care insurance designed for sitters and dog walking, not just generic coverage, maintaining general liability and care, custody, and control coverage appropriate for the work our partner sitters do, having bonding coverage in place as an extra layer of protection for our clients, putting clear protocols behind all of it so sitters know how to prevent issues and what to do if something happens. We also document incidents, communicate openly with clients if something goes wrong, review what happened internally to reduce the chances of it happening again. The goal isn't to just have a policy, it's to use that structure to keep your dog and home safer and to respond responsibly if something does not go as planned. Now, let's clear up a few myths I hear all the time. My homeowner's insurance will cover everything, right? Maybe, maybe not. Your homeowner's policy might cover some scenarios, but it may also exclude incidents that happen as part of a business service, have deductibles or limitations that make it less helpful in certain situations. A professional pet sitter's business insurance is there so that you aren't left trying to navigate everything through your own policy. If someone says they're insured and bonded, they must have all the same coverage. Not at all. Coverage can vary a lot. Different limits, different exclusions. Some might only have bare bones policies. That's why it's important to ask questions, not just look for the words insured and bonded on a website. Insurance and bonding prevent anything bad from happening. No type of coverage can prevent all incidents. What they do is encourage better systems and training, provide financial and procedural support if something does happen, helps separate truly professional operations from casual under-the-table arrangements. Here's where this gets really actionable. When you're interviewing a dog sitter or pet care company, whether it's us at the Comforted Canine or someone else, these questions can tell you a lot. Do you carry professional pet sitting insurance? Follow up. What types of coverage are included? Look for general liability and coverage for animals in their care. Are you bonded? Follow up. What does your bond cover? Are your sitters covered under your policy? You want to know that the person actually visiting your home is protected under that umbrella. What happens if my dog is injured while in your care? Listen for a clear plan. Contact you, contact your vet, incident documentation, and how insurance may be used. What happens if something in my home is damaged or goes missing? They should have protocols for investigation and resolution, not just, oh, that's never happened. Can you explain in simple terms how your insurance and bonding protect clients? If they can't explain it understandably, that's a red flag. You don't have to be aggressive or confrontational, just curious and clear. A professional company should be comfortable answering these questions. Insurance and bonding work best when everyone is honest and informed. Here are a few ways you can help make sure things go smoothly. Be upfront about your dog's behavior. If your dog is bitten, is reactive, or has specific triggers, tell us. It's not about judging your dog, it's about keeping everyone safe. Tell your sitter where things are and what's off limits. Clear instructions about rooms, cabinets, and items make it easier to respect your boundaries. Update us on health changes. New medication, recent surgery, sudden behavior shifts, these all matter. Share your expectations clearly. If you want extra caution around certain areas of the house, or you'd rather your sitter avoid a particular walking route, they need to know. All of this helps your sitter prevent problems before they happen, which is always better than relying on coverage after the fact. So, when you see insured and bonded on a pet sitting website or brochure, here's what I hope you think now. Insurance helps protect you from accidents and incidents involving your dog or your property while a sitter is working. Bonding adds a layer of protection if there's ever a case of theft or intentional damage by someone working in your home. Neither one is a magic shield, but together, backed by strong systems and training, they're a sign you're dealing with a professional operation, not just a casual arrangement. At the Comforted Canine, we take your trust and your dog's safety seriously. Our insurance and bonding are part of a bigger picture that includes careful hiring and vetting, experience, protocols, and communication, and a safety-first mindset in everything our sitters do. If you're in one of the areas we serve and you'd like to learn more about how our coverage works in your specific situation, you're always welcome to reach out to schedule a free meet and greet. No pressure, just a chance to talk about your dog, your home, and what helps you feel truly protected while you're away. Thanks for hanging out with me for a slightly less fluffy topic, but an incredibly important one. See you in the next video.